This is the largest LEGO Star Wars set ever made. I'm Joshua Hinlin, and today we're taking a look at the brand new LEGO Death Star set. One of the immediately recognizable features of this is the fact that there are 38 minifigs inside here, so it's jam-packed with minifigs. There are just over 9,000 pieces, and it retails for a whopping $1,000 in the United States. Now, you might notice right off the bat that they went a different design approach here with the fact that it's kind of a slice of the Death Star and not the complete round shape that we've gotten in the previous 3 versions. I actually really like this approach. I think it'll make it easier for fans to display it, especially on a wall or something. It's not going to stick out as far, so that's really nice. You can also take in the entire build and see all the different scenes just from the front, so it's easier to appreciate all the different scenes. You don't have to spin it around or walk 360 degrees all the way around it. So I really like the overall design approach they took with the build. We'll start here at the top with the throne room and kind of give you a closer look at each of these. Like I said, with 38 minifigs, there are tons of minifigs packed in. So you've got Darth Vader down here, you've got the Emperor with his lightning and his 2 guards, and then Luke over here. There are a few play features as well. So with this one, you can actually push down the platform and Luke falls down. Here you have the Imperial Dignitary. My favorite Star Wars minifig actually has a new hat mold. So this is a brand new hat mold that LEGO made just for him in this set. And then a great purple color there. I also like how the platform kind of comes out here, so it creates more of like a 3D effect. So instead of, so much of it is flat except for the platform at the bottom, that I think this kind of adds just more kind of 3D and kind of life to the overall display model, with the platform being out here and there's space to bring minifigs out and display them out here on the front section. Now, one of the main play features and ways the minifigs move around the ship is actually this elevator. So you spin it from the top here. There are 6 different levels, and you can see the doors slide open and close, and you're able to put minifigs inside there and move them from level to level. So in theory, the minifigs can get all throughout the ship and all throughout the Death Star, which is really neat. So this goes from the very bottom to the very top, and the mechanism works really well. You'll see behind the scenes more of how that's driven here when I spin it around later on. Over here, you've got some smaller hallway scenes with some more elevators there with some droids, and then Stormtroopers. You've got gunners and crew members. And then here, we'll flip this up real quick to show a quick Easter egg, which is really fun. So there are a couple references to the LEGO Star Wars video games in this build. One of them is here with the Stormtrooper in the hot tub. He's got his microphone and his hairbrush on the wall with his radio, just having a great time. Clueless that the entire Death Star is currently under attack, just enjoying life and vibing. I love that. Down here we move to one of the most impressive and kind of interesting looking sections of the Death Star. This is the massive laser cannon here, and so you've got the control area with one of the gunners, some more equipment underneath it, and then of course these giant green lasers that form the weapon itself. So this is definitely kind of one of the more interesting parts of the build, and just kind of stands out compared to a lot of the platforms and just general structure that you're building for a lot of the build. Coming down here, we've got another hallway scene, and you've got Chewie and Han. And that moves into one of the control rooms. You've got a little bit of play features here. A lot of these computer modules and things will spin around and move a little bit. And then here is another hallway. You got kind of a clear shot into one of the rooms back there. And that moves into one of my favorite parts of the build. So you've got this platform that can move back and forth. So some nice play features there. Then you can also swing Leia and Luke from one side to another. And this is just a really nice and easy, very simple mechanism, but it's a really fun mechanism to play with. And then of course you've got Obi-Wan kind of hanging on there with the center console. Here you've got the war room starting to form. So some of the top Imperial leaders and Vader's military council are all in there gathering around the table. And then, so just above them, kind of take this section off, you can get an easier view with better lighting of the throne room area. So one thing I wanted to mention was the fact that we have kind of an external light pointing at this from the front right now, but if you only have kind of lighting from up top, things become a lot more difficult to see. So you can see, we shut off the light real quick there just to show you how some of these rooms here become much darker when you don't have an external light pointing at it from the front. So because of that, I think the lighting kits are probably going to be very, very popular for this set. It would have been really cool to see LEGO include some kind of a lighting kit. I know a lot of people have wanted LEGO to do a lighting kit, their own line of lighting kits for a very long time, but I think the third-party ones are probably going to be super popular just because it's so difficult to pick out a lot of the details here unless you have kind of multiple points of light shining at this. But back up here to the corner, so you can actually flip up this section here and get a glance at one of the cannons here on the Death Star, and there are gunners that I've kind of placed throughout the display here, but that kind of gives each corner then has some weaponry on display. Down below the council room, we've got Vader's chamber, and then this actually slides out the back. You've got the Emperor here, kind of a section in the back, and that slides in and out of this back section here. And then right down below that, we've got another crew member with some more computers and kind of control areas and some weapons inside there. This is another one of those rooms that, again, is really tough to see inside if you don't have some extra light. But it's got a window that looks out on one of the main sections of the display, and that's the landing platform. So you build this kind of almost like a mosaic in the background. I'll move the landing craft here. So that kind of replicates the stars and kind of a space background. And then the landing craft does have moving wings and also movable landing gear. So this can move up and down. So there is some play features inside there. And then the cockpit actually pops off too. So you can see how that looks. You're able to stick a minifig inside there. So we'll move that to the side for now. You've got some Stormtroopers. Of course, you've got to have kind of your main iconic characters. So you've got R2-D2, C-3PO, another droid there, little mouse droid in here. And then there are a ton of stickers. So you see a few right here on this landing platform. There's quite a large sticker sheet that's included with this set. So for those of you who don't like stickers, that's definitely going to be a downside to it, especially when you're paying $1,000 for a Star Wars set like this. But there are some fun ones in there, so there's some kind of Easter eggs and some different references that as you build it, I won't spoil all of that for you, but as you build it, there are some fun different references in there, so I think they do a good job kind of trying to make it fun and interesting. We'll move over here to this hallway scene. So you've got a couple more crew members there, and then this section actually slides in and out to just kind of open it up, and then you can see a little bit of some video game references on the back edges there that we'll see when we go around to the back. We'll flip it around, but we'll stick that room back in there now. So it just kind of is on tracks, makes that nice and easy. Now, a lot of people's, one of the more iconic scenes, a lot of people's favorite scenes is down here with the trash compactor room. You've got Han in front there, and then Luke is inside there. Actually, kind of turn this so you can see you've got the monster inside there, and then the walls will move in and out. So that's really fun. One fun play feature here is you can actually send a minifig down from the hallway here, and it will fall down into the trash compactor there. So there's kind of a movement and kind of going throughout the story that works really well. And then as we come around here, we've actually got the set, kind of these iconic UCS set card descriptions with all of the armaments on there, and then a couple more minifigs and kind of a computer console. We'll go ahead and spin it around and give you a look at the back. You can see, obviously, tons of gray all throughout the edges. So the back is mostly structural. A lot of those pieces used to make the stars or the Harry Potter wands. So those are sticking out the back there. Here you've got those video game references I mentioned earlier in here. So I think, obviously, the LEGO Star Wars video games are so popular they had to have that. There's a little window here that's hard to see from the other side. But you've got Alderaan and then the planet exploding. So that's kind of a great little play feature in there that you're able to spin that around. Here's the window behind the Emperor's throne. That's held in by a whole bunch of these individually built sections that kind of hold that window in place. And then that elevator I mentioned earlier uses this technique, which has become more common in LEGO sets when they're building kind of elevators. This is a technique that LEGO designers like to use pretty often. Here's a fun little reference to the height of a Stormtrooper. So it's a sticker on there, and then you're able to put your minifig on there and see how tall they are, the height of a Stormtrooper. And once again, kind of going back to the structure and the build. So one of my kind of biggest complaints, I would say, when assembling this is it feels like you're building a ton of kind of platforms and walls. So the build itself to me was not super interesting. It also wasn't super repetitive though. When thinking about a set like the Eiffel Tower or the Taj Mahal, it certainly is not nearly as repetitive as those types of sets. But it also is not the most interesting creative build just because you end up building so many sections of tile and flooring and then just these kind of gray outer sections that create the structure of it. I think this room over here was definitely one of the more interesting spots for me. And then part of the throne room area here kind of had some interesting builds in it too. And then even the shuttle to a lesser extent too. But you do have some greebling on here, so that does kind of create a little bit of more kind of interest rather than just gray. So they tried to throw on, obviously greebling is iconic with a lot of spaceship designs, and a lot of Lego space builders love to use greebling in their builds. So you kind of build that with each section as it comes together. The build itself starts with the landing platform, and then you just go up from there, and each of these sit on top of each other. So it just kind of starts from the ground and then builds up to the rest of the build. And this thing is absolutely massive, as you can see. So definitely one of those sets that before you purchase this, you want to have a place in mind where you're going to be able to put it, because it takes up a huge amount of space. Even though it's not the largest set ever made, it doesn't quite reach the 10,000 piece count of the Eiffel Tower or the world map back here that I have on the wall, which is the largest set ever made by piece count. Yeah, but at just over 9,000 pieces, this set is certainly a behemoth and still will require a huge amount of space to display. But like I said, it won't stick out super far. So if you have kind of a wall display, then you'll be able to kind of set it against the wall and make that work. And I think it'll look really fantastic. So that's a look here at the brand new Death Star set. This releases on October 1st for purchase. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below on what you think of this. Obviously, I mean, the price coming in at $1,000, the most expensive Lego set ever made, is going to be a central point of discussion among fans. So love to hear your thoughts on whether this is a set that you could see requiring that $1,000 price tag and justifying that. And especially what you think of kind of the display design choice of it being a slice of the Death Star, and then all of these 38 minifigs, which tons of iconic minifigs. We're taking a closer look at all of the minifigs in the set now, so I've lined them up here so you can get a much better kind of closer look at them. And we'll start at this top row here that I put on the landing platform. So you've got your Luke minifigs in here. And like I mentioned earlier, there are multiple versions of some of these minifigs just so you can create kind of different scenes from different parts of the Star Wars timeline. So you've got his green lightsaber with the black outfit, and then the blue lightsaber with the white outfit, very similar hair pieces. Then you've got a Leia minifig there, and then another Luke next to her in the Stormtrooper outfit. Here you have the two Han Solos in his classic kind of look, and then his Stormtrooper look too. Behind them you've got Chewie, and Chewie has one of the kind of crossbow elements that you can fire the red laser out of, so that has a playable element to it. And Chewie's fur is super detailed, so it's been cool to see the different versions they've done of him over the years. I'll actually spin him around here too. So most of these don't have a lot of back printing on them. Then C-3PO and R2-D2. And Obi-Wan next to them. A couple of the minifigs, like Obi-Wan, I know is one of them, also has a gray hair element. So you can switch from the hood to the gray hair element. And of course, you can see he has his cape and a multi-sided face. So the majority of the figures have multi-sided faces. And then you've got another droid next to him, and then one of the Death Star crew members, and another unit, the R3-T6 there at the very end, which has kind of this interesting trans-clear dome to him. Now, moving down to the bottom row here, coming over to this side, we've got the Emperor's Imperial Guards, and then, of course, Darth Vader here, And the Emperor, all of these characters do have their own capes. And the lightning is a really cool effect. You can take Darth Vader's mask off and see his face. And then one of the fun references, like I mentioned, to the video game, Star Wars video game, is this Stormtrooper in a hot tub. So he's got his little rubber ducky, his six-pack in there, just smiling, having a great time. And then behind him is Galen Erso and Director Krennic with the kind of center computer console and a little, we got a little printed tile there. And then here we have the Imperial Dignitary, which does have that new hat element. So take that off, get a closer look at that. So that's a new hat mold that they created. And then there's the back side with more facial reactions. And then here's a lot of the Imperial officers and staff. And coming down here, you get the Stormtroopers. So these are kind of interesting because the Lego's given us kind of a variety of head molds and skin tones. So we'll take off some of these here and you can see a few of the different options that they've given people here. So this way fans get a nice variety of skin tones, which is something that people are always asking for more in Lego sets. And so you're able to get that here, some of these different minifigs that they've included. I'll show you the last couple ones. So yeah, that was really neat that they were able to do that here, and I think just give more variety to fans. Moving those out of the way, we will come over here to some of the gunners and these really neat helmets that the Death Star gunners have on them. And the back side. Then you've got the Imperial Navy officers and troopers. Again, some of the helmet designs are really cool here. And finally, one of the Death Star crew members once again. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching.